Doris Day was often called America's sweetheart, but behind that warm smile was a woman with incredibly refined taste in music. During her long Hollywood career, Doris Day met countless singers, actors, and entertainers from the golden age of American entertainment. She performed beside legends, attended exclusive Hollywood events, and witnessed firsthand which stars truly possessed timeless talent. But according to stories from people close to her, only a very small group of singers stood out to her as genuinely beautiful. And interestingly, Doris Day's idea of beauty wasn't simply about appearance. She admired warmth, elegance, emotional honesty, and voices that could deeply move people. In a world full of ego and fame, Doris seemed drawn toward artists who felt authentic. These were reportedly the only 7 singers she found truly beautiful. One of the singers most closely associated with Doris Day's admiration was Frank Sinatra. By the time Sinatra reached the peak of his career, he wasn't just a singer anymore. He had become a cultural phenomenon. His voice carried confidence, heartbreak, romance, and vulnerability all at once. Doris Day reportedly admired how Sinatra could completely transform the emotional atmosphere of a song with subtle changes in tone and delivery. Unlike many singers who focused only on sounding technically impressive, Sinatra had the rare ability to make listeners feel like he was speaking directly to them. Songs like Fly Me to the Moon and My Way became legendary not simply because of the melodies, but because Sinatra injected genuine emotion into every word. Doris appreciated singers who sounded emotionally sincere rather than artificial, and Sinatra mastered that art better than almost anyone of his generation. Even with his larger-than-life public image, there was something deeply human and emotionally exposed about his performances that Doris reportedly considered truly beautiful. Another singer Doris Day reportedly admired deeply was Dean Martin. Dean Martin possessed one of the smoothest and most effortlessly charming voices in entertainment history. While many performers of the era pushed themselves to appear dramatic or intense, Martin seemed completely relaxed every time he stepped in front of a microphone. That calm confidence became one of his greatest strengths. Doris Day reportedly loved how natural he sounded while performing, almost as if he were casually singing to close friends instead of millions of listeners. His voice carried warmth and comfort that instantly made audiences feel at ease. Whether performing romantic classics like That's Amore or slower emotional ballads, Dean Martin never sounded forced or overly theatrical. In many ways, his charm came from simplicity. Doris admired entertainers who made difficult things appear effortless, and Dean Martin embodied that perfectly. Even decades later, his music still creates feelings of nostalgia and comfort, which explains why Doris likely viewed him as one of the most beautiful singers of the era. Then there was Julie London, whose voice became one of the most recognizable sound of the 1950s. Unlike singers who relied on huge vocal performances or dramatic stage presence, Julie London captivated audiences through intimacy and subtle emotion. Her smoky, haunting voice made songs feel deeply personal. Doris Day reportedly respected singers who understood the power of restraint, performers who realized that quiet emotion could sometimes be more powerful than loud performances. Julie London's iconic recording of Cry Me a River remains one of the most emotionally raw songs of the classic era because of how vulnerable and understated it felt. There was elegance in her simplicity. She didn't try to overpower listeners. Instead, she pulled them into the song emotionally. Doris Day admired singers who could create genuine emotional connection without needing excessive theatrics, and Julie London represented that style perfectly. Her performances felt sophisticated, mature, and timeless in a way that few singers could replicate. Another name often connected to Doris Day's admiration was Patti Page. Patti Page became one of the most successful singers of traditional pop music with her incredibly soft and graceful vocal style. During an era filled with dramatic personalities and rapidly changing music trends, Patti stood out because of her calm elegance. Her voice sounded smooth, pure, and emotionally sincere, qualities Doris Day valued deeply. Songs like Tennessee Waltz became massive hits, because audiences found comfort in Patti's gentle style of singing. Doris reportedly appreciated how Patti never seemed interested in controversy or shocking publicity. Instead, she focused entirely on creating beautiful music that connected emotionally with listeners. There was a softness in Patti Page's performances that reflected the classic elegance of old Hollywood itself. Doris admired singers who made people feel emotionally safe and nostalgic, and Patti's music carried exactly that feeling. One of the most respected artists of the entire generation was Nat King Cole. To many people, Nat King Cole possessed one of the smoothest voices ever recorded, and Doris Day reportedly considered his singing truly unforgettable. What made Nat King Cole special wasn't just technical perfection. It was the warmth and humanity inside his voice. Every song he performed felt comforting and deeply emotional without ever sounding exaggerated. Songs like Unforgettable, Mona Lisa, and Love became timeless classics because Cole sang with extraordinary sincerity and elegance. Doris Day reportedly admired not only his talent, but also his grace as a person. During a time when racial discrimination remained deeply embedded in American entertainment, Nat King Cole carried himself with incredible dignity and professionalism despite the challenges he faced. Doris appreciated kindness and emotional intelligence just as much as musical ability, and Nat King Cole represented all of those qualities beautifully. His voice remains timeless because it feels genuine even decades later. Another singer connected to Doris Day's admiration was Brenda Lee. Unlike some of the softer traditional vocalists of the era, Brenda Lee brought intense, emotional power into her performances. Despite being physically small, her voice sounded enormous, passionate, and completely fearless. Doris reportedly respected singers who could balance vulnerability with strength, and Brenda Lee achieved that naturally. Songs like I'm Sorry revealed incredible emotional maturity, especially considering how young Brenda was when she recorded many of her biggest hits. Her performances carried heartbreak, longing, and emotional honesty in a way that audiences instantly believed. Doris Day appreciated singers who sounded authentic rather than manufactured, and Brenda Lee's emotional intensity made her stand out from many performers of her generation. Even today, listeners are often shocked by how powerful and emotionally rich her voice sounded at such a young age. Finally, there was Jo Stafford, one of the most technically gifted vocalists of the classic music era. Jo Stafford possessed extraordinary vocal control and precision, yet her performances never sounded cold or mechanical. Instead, her voice carried remarkable warmth and emotional elegance. Doris Day reportedly admired singers who could combine technical excellence with genuine feeling, and Stafford mastered that balance beautifully. During a time when glamour and celebrity image often overshadowed talent, Jo Stafford relied almost entirely on the beauty of her voice itself. She didn't need controversy or dramatic attention to stand out because her singing spoke for itself. There was a quiet confidence and sophistication in her performances that earned enormous respect throughout the music industry.